All right, ladies, so when coordinating a big holiday dinner, what comes first?
Well, it has to be the nibbles.
Yeah.
Because you've got to keep people busy while you're in the kitchen making gravy, right?
Plus, it makes them feel welcome. You know, they've got something to munch on. It makes them feel like they're part of the party.
I agree. And this one's actually so beautiful.
So easy.
Yeah, it is easy. And Maggie, one of the editors at Better Homes and Gardens, is going to show us how to create a board like this while we sample some of this, because this looks absolutely delicious. I was just gonna dive right in, but thank you.
I'm gonna show you how to make a charcuterie board today. Here we have an array of Italian meats. We're gonna start with some capicola. And I like to start by building my board in the center. Next, we're gonna add some prosciutto. It's a thinly sliced cured Italian meat, and I love this one because you can create some really great shape. Next, we're gonna go to some pepperoni. So if people are thinking, what is capicola and what is prosciutto, they're probably gonna like pepperoni. We're gonna add some calabrese. This is some mozzarella that's wrapped in prosciutto. So these little logs are just so fun and easy to stack here at the back of our tray. Next, we're gonna add our cheeses. We're gonna start with a goat's milk cheese. We'll put that there right in the center. And think about creating ways for people to want to dig into this cheese board. So we're gonna just take a knife and kind of break that up so people are ready to dive in. So you've got a nice blue cheese here. We'll add that to our board. So you wanna think about a variety of textures and tastes. Next, we've got a manchego. It is a Spanish cow's milk cheese. And I've already cut that up because it makes it nice to have these slices for people to grab. Next, we got some sharp white cheddar. As you can see, I've kind of filled in the space so it looks really abundant and really delicious for everybody. Next, a mix of crackers. We've got some nice crackers we got from the store. You go to a specialty market or even your supermarket, look for a different variety of crackers instead of just kind of your basics. This is one of my favorite things, toasted baguette. You just rub a little olive oil on these and pop them in the oven. Next, we have some seedy crackers, look at those. And last, we're gonna finish with just some easy accompaniments. Some antipasti, some artichokes, tuck that in there, and some coarse mustard. This is always great for a charcuterie board because you can smear that on with your meats and cheeses. And then to finish, we're just gonna add some forks. And this will just invite everyone to dig in. So there you go, a charcuterie board fit for a crowd.
Well, those boards were pretty fun, but nothing gets you ready for the main course like some good apps. And here we have a holiday roast, and I have to say, looking at it, I feel a little bit intimidated. It looks like it's tricky, and I can't be the only person that feels this way.
Well, there's no need to be because we have the secret for roasting perfection every time. It's a thermometer. Whether you're doing a turkey or a big beef roast, a thermometer will really help you know when it's done and roasted to perfection.
And I have to say, this is something that I don't have in my kitchen, so I'm totally with you. This is gonna be my first purchase.
Well, there's different varieties. This one is one that actually you put the probe in your roast and then the monitor's on the outside of the oven so you don't have to peek. It's a good thing not to peek because you let 50 degrees of temperature out of your oven every time you open the door, so keep the door closed, let it roast.
I wouldn't have known that.
Something to be said about an oven light.
Yeah.
Just peek, just peek. But you don't have to have a fancy. You can just have the old-fashioned stick meat thermometer and make sure that you know where you're going to stop. So turkey really is safe to eat at 165. It doesn't mean it's beautiful and pretty and ready to eat at 165. 175 is what we say if you insert this in the thigh and then you let it stand and the temperature will still rise, but you're not going to have a dried out turkey.
Okay, now those are already some good tips that I know that I didn't know about, and I feel a little bit better. But Lynn, you also have some more tips on how to prepare a turkey like this one, and we are going to take a look at them.
Once you figure out what type of meat you're going to cook, the next thing you want to do is figure out how you might want to flavor it. Fresh herbs, citrus, garlic, and onion are great choices. Next, I'm going to add a rub on the outside of the bird, actually even underneath the skin. The rub that I'm using today is a mixture of butter, rosemary, thyme, and sage. I can just make sure that that mixture gets evenly distributed over the top of the breast meat. Now that we've added the flavor to the bird and I've tied the legs to the tail, it's ready to go in the roasting pan. I'm using a roasting pan with a rack so all of that hot air from the oven gets circulated around the bird. Now that our turkey is roasted to perfection, it's time to make gravy. I'm going to deglaze the pan with a cup of broth. Now I'm gonna pour that into a measuring cup and skim off the fat. And I'm gonna measure that to a 1/4 cup. I will add it to the saucepan along with a 1/4 cup of flour. So once this is thoroughly combined, I'm gonna add 2 cups of broth. The secret to smooth gravy is to make sure that when you've incorporated that flour into your fat mixture, you don't have any little lumps. Then we'll season it with a little salt and pepper, and there you have it, perfect gravy. Now that our gravy is made, it's time to carve the turkey, and it's easier than you think. Start by just removing the thigh and drumstick portion. Once that's free, you can just move that to your platter. Slice along the breastbone to remove this whole portion of meat, and then it's so much easier to carve. And actually, I like to use my hands because you can just really get a hold of it better. And I'm gonna slice across the grain, and this just gives you a more tender eating experience. So you can carve this as thin or as thick as you like. Now that our turkey is carved, it's ready to make the platter beautiful. I'm gonna add some cranberries just because they add some nice color, some roasted oranges, some fresh sage, rosemary, and thyme, because those are the 3 herbs that we used in our rub. You can find this recipe and many more in our Better Homes and Gardens new cookbook.
Well, now my mouth is watering, but nothing goes with your entrees. Of course, like some good sides, and the new cookbook has hundreds that we are going to talk about coming up right after this.